This is Olena. And I'm Isaac. And we are the Travel Bug Bite. Olena was born in Kiev, Ukraine, and raised in Prague, Czech Republic, where we met and got married. We spent 3 years exploring Europe from Prague, 2 years exploring Asia from Shanghai, that's Mount Everest, then 10 months frantically navigating New York City. Finally, we settled in my home state of Rhode Island with 2 doggos and 2 turtles. To follow our adventures of near and far, subscribe to the Travel Bug Bite today.
What if I told you you could take this and turn it into this using this? Well, let's find out how. For $39.99, a Brewsy kit can turn any juice into wine in 5 days. So 3 days ago, we started our Brewsy kit, and it involves putting yeast and the mixture that they give you into juice. And for more details on how we did that, you can see our previous video. And today, 3 days later, is when they recommend that you check it out and follow the next steps. And we're here to find out what the next steps are. So we left these in the closet for 3 days. We didn't follow the instructions exactly. They say you should keep the temperature right at around 75 degrees, which is kind of tough right now. It's September in New England, and the temperature goes up and down quite a bit during the day and night, and it actually says no fluctuations in temperature. So they recommend you put like a blanket around your bottles, and but they also say that it's okay, it's gonna happen, it just might not be the absolute best. And these juices used to be clear, you could see through them, and now they're bubbling away and they're much thicker. And they say that after 12 hours only, you should be able to see that there's bubbles happening. So you know it's working if 12 hours later it's starting to bubble. They also recommend that you kind of swirl it around like this, you know, just a little bit every single day for those 3 days. We haven't done that. We've been really busy, but apparently it's just to make it, you know, a little bit better, but it looks like it's still working. So at this point, I'm not exactly sure what to do. I'm gonna have to read the instructions to find out what to do next. And it does say some things once you get this about adding optional flavors and spices at this stage. I'm not gonna read that, but if you ever get this kit, you're allowed to add some extra stuff right now. And then let's see, the science of taste and flavor is the next page. That just explains to you kind of what's going on in this process during those 3 days. And my wife and I my wife's from the Czech Republic and Ukraine, and I lived in the Czech Republic with her for 3 years, and there's a type of wine there called Burčák, which means young wine.
Say it in German. It's a German thing too.
What's the German word? In Germany, this type of young wine is called Federweise. Now, I'm not exactly sure if what's happening right now is that, but it smells very similar to what we got used to in the Czech Republic. So I'm almost tempted to just uncork this right now and drink it. I love how detailed Brewsy is in this little booklet they give you. It's awesome. They give you really useful information, but sometimes it kind of conflicts with what the website says. Not necessarily conflicts, but it just doesn't have the finite steps. So when I was reading this, it went from the third step of wait till it ferments, and it doesn't exactly say that you should wait 3 days in order to before transferring it to the fridge. But when you read the very succinct steps on their website, it does say wait 3 days and then put it in the fridge. So just so you know, you leave it for 3 days every
unless day. It's mead, then it's longer.
Yeah, mead is a different story. You're supposed to swirl it around every once in a while, every few hours actually, for those first 3 days. And it's not going to kill it if you don't, but it's apparently better. So right now we're 3 days in and we're ready to put it in the fridge. So now it's step 4, stop fermentation. Transfer it to the fridge. After the brewing process, it's time to stop fermentation. We'll do this by cold crashing your wine or cider, which is lowering the temperature to be too cold for the yeast to keep floating around. This is as easy as placing your container in the fridge for at least 48 hours and being careful not to disturb it. At this stage, you may notice that your drink is not as sweet as you'd like or even sour. As mentioned, your drink isn't quite done yet, and the flavor will steadily improve with prolonged refrigeration. Moving your drink to the fridge, you can remove the airlock stopper and replace them with the original cap. However, if doing this, make sure not to tighten the cap on the juice container at all, but instead just loosely set it on the top. The reason for this is that the carbonation can still build up over time. We want to make sure that it can escape. So in other words, if you put that cap on and make it really, really tight, it's going to pop off while it's in your fridge. And you don't want that to happen because you get wine all over your fridge. And then it actually says rack and repeat, optional. So after the first 24 hours in the fridge, you'll start to notice sediment. It's going to start building up down here.
You can already notice it.
Yep, it's already starting. Probably because our closet is actually pretty cold. It's simply composed of your yeast, some juice solids, and the other used up nutrients from your Brewsy bag. Because it contains yeast, it'll continue to carbonate your drink over time. The trub can also make your drink a little cloudy. Some of us leave it at the bottom of the container and don't mind that it's there, but others want to get rid of it. So in other words, it's not harmful, it's just maybe not, it's kind of like pulp versus no pulp in a juice. If carbonation isn't your thing, or you'd like to reduce the cloudiness, there's an easy way to get rid of it. This method is called racking, and most of us winemakers do it if we're not drinking all of our wine immediately after 48 hours. That doesn't sound like us. To rack your drink, simply pour the wine into a separate container and leave the sediment behind. If you want to keep your wine in the original juice bottle, you can now wash out the tub from the original container, discarding all of the sediment, and then pour your wine back in. This can be done every 48 hours in the fridge, and you might want to rack your wine up to 3 times. Just like cold crashing, it's important to leave the lid very loosely on your bottle when aging to rack. If you're wanting to seal and bottle your wine, make sure to do it at least 2 rounds of racking, or else you might have significant sediment and carbonation behind up in your bottle. As with all preservative-free wines, Brewsy wine should be stored in the fridge even after bottling. So basically, it sounds like they're saying that in 2 days in the fridge, this will be ready to drink. But if you don't really like that sedimenty taste, you can pour it into another container and leave the sediment behind, rinse out the container, and pour it back in. And apparently you always should keep, we actually kept the, as they recommended, we kept the original caps for these, and you're supposed to just lay it on top like that and not actually screw it in, otherwise it's going to blow up essentially. And yeah, if you're really, really hardcore, you can do it several times, this racking process, and you're gonna have some delicious wine, we hope, in 2 more days. There's a couple of things about back sweetening and adding acidity and adjusting tannins and all of these extra things in the booklet. But for now, we're going with the basics first, and we might mess around with it after our first batch. We did buy 3 other bottles of juice, so...
and we want to try it with cider.
And we would love to try it with cider, because if we get normal apple cider, apparently you can make it into hard cider, so that would be great as well. So this is, we're in this with you. This is our first time, so we'll see how it goes with Brewsy. So at this point, apparently they are drinkable and they are alcoholic. They might not taste the best, we'll see. Like I said, it tastes kind of like the young wine from the Czech Republic. Smells, sorry, we haven't tasted it yet. And so this one we called Kākou. And you know what? We said born on this date, but I would almost rather say conceived on that date and born on the day that it's actually done.
That's a political question.
That is, yeah. When does life begin? We will not get into that here on our channel. So this one is the Kākou, and it's from apple, orange, pineapple. And I'm just going to take a sip and see how it is. Okay. Oh, actually, it's great as you said.
No.
Smells like if you've ever been to a hot spring where the springs are heated by, like, you know, volcanic whatever.
Like Iceland?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what it smells like. It does taste, it's almost like if you took the apple, orange, pineapple juice and just like added a bunch of water, even though we took out water and added yeast, and just kind of like deleted some of the flavor. Right?
But I smell it, and it smells like woodchuck.
Yeah, I know it. It's just, there's something about it that I'm like, ugh, it needs some,
Okay.
It needs to be, I don't know what happened with that one.
Cranny McCranface.
Cranny McCranface, which is our cranberry, just straight cranberry juice. Again, it tastes like, it smells like cranberry juice with that weird, because I imagine it's a similar process. Some chemists can tell us differently in the comments, but I don't know. That one is much better. So I'm pretty sure this is the sweetest one we did. We put a lot of sugar in it, so that might be why. But that's definitely, it's way better than the previous one.
Does it taste like wine?
Yes. They did say that pineapple is one that's not always as effective. So the fact that there's pineapple in it might have some effect. And this one is just white grape juice. So theoretically, this should taste just
and we should have called that the grape white shark.
The grape white shark. What did we call it? Wibbly wobbly, grapey wapey stuff.
Yep.
For all those Doctor Who fans out there, you'll get that. But anyway. Okay, it should taste like white burchak, young wine. We'll see. And it kind of does taste like it. It's God, I'm so bad at explaining flavors, but it's like a young wine. If you've ever had one in either Germany or the Czech Republic, it kind of tastes like it. I'm tempted to drink this one as it is, and same with the cranberry. It's really good, but we're gonna go with Brewsy's advice, and we're gonna do what you're supposed to do. You get that third cap, and we're gonna put this in the fridge for a day or two, and we're gonna dump out the sediment, and then we'll see what keeps happening. It is still bubbling, so we'll see you in a couple of days, and hopefully we'll have some wine. So we went with this Brewsy kit. It's a starter kit, and it comes with these 3 airlock stoppers. And once you have these, you're pretty much all set, because you can buy, it's $39.99 for the starter kit, which would be like $12 per bottle or so. But if you buy just the individual bags of the yeast, then you can reuse these stoppers, and they're only about $6 or $7. So that means you can make, with each single bag, you can make 1.5 gallons of wine, which is quite a lot for $6 or $7. So this starter kit for $39.99 comes with 3, so that'll get you 4.5 gallons. This is only 1 packet. This is 1.5 gallons. This is 6 quarts. So what we have right here, you can get for it's somewhere between $6 and $7, depending on shipping. So one bag is I think it's $6.95. They might even offer free shipping. I'll have to check. But you already have the stoppers. The bottles come with whatever juice you buy. And then you just get these little bags in the mail, and just that one little bag can make 1.5 gallons of wine, which is, you can't beat that for $6, $7. And besides the price, like, it's super fun. You can choose the flavor of your juice. Apparently you can add, I don't even know what. You could probably make mulled wine with like some different spices like nutmeg and sage. You can make anything you want. Apparently anything that is not more than, I think, 50% juice, you can make
40% citrus.
Apparently anything that is not more than 40% citrus, as long as it's some kind of juice, you can make it into wine. I'm wondering about random things like Gatorade. I want to make some like really random stuff like V8 or something like that into wine. That would be really fun. So we'll see how this goes, and then we might start messing around. If you want to see what happens next, please subscribe to the Travel Bug Bite, and we'll see you at the next step in a couple of days.